Did you know riding a motorcycle is 16 times more dangerous than driving a car? Most new riders don't, and I didn't either when I started. I thought I was ready. I watched a few YouTube videos, bought a helmet, and figured I'd be fine. I wasn't. I made every rookie mistake in the book and nearly paid the price. So in this video, I'm breaking down 13 essential motorcycle tips every beginner rider needs to know. The kind of tips I wish someone had drilled into my head before I ever threw a leg over a bike. Whether you're brand new to riding or just thinking about getting your first motorcycle, this might be the most important video you watch all year. Let's dive in. Number 13. Don't obsessively look at your dashboard. The dashboard obsession is real. I see new riders constantly checking their speed, RPMs, and gear position like they're flying a Boeing 747. Here's the truth. None of that really matters if you're not looking at the road ahead. Think about it. Do you constantly stare at your car's dashboard while driving? No, because you gauge your speed based on traffic flow, and if it's a manual, you listen to the engine to find the right gear. Your motorcycle works the same way. If you're in too low a gear, the engine sounds stressed. Too high, and you'll have no power when you twist the throttle. You'll learn how your bike feels at different speeds and in different gears naturally. The real danger comes when you're constantly looking down instead of scanning for obstacles, noticing cars that might change lanes without signaling. Keep your eyes on the road and look where you want to go. Your dashboard isn't going anywhere. It'll still be there when you actually need to check something important. But that car about to merge into your lane without looking, that pothole that could send you flying, those won't wait for you to finish admiring your RPM gauge. Number 12. Stay loose on the handlebars. Now that you know where to focus your eyes, let's talk about what to do with your hands. I remember my first highway ride, going 55 miles per hour never felt so fast. Wind blasting, engine vibrating, and my hands white-knuckling those handlebars like my life depended on it. But here's what experienced riders know. Death gripping your handlebars actually makes your bike less stable. You'll transfer every tiny movement of your arms directly to the steering, making your ride jerky and unpredictable. Instead, grip the tank with your knees. Tank grips are worth every penny here. They give you something to hold on to with your legs so you can keep your upper body relaxed. This leaves your arms free to make smooth, controlled inputs on the bars. With a lighter grip, your cornering will feel more natural. You won't accidentally whiskey throttle over bumps. You'll ride longer without arm fatigue. You'll even notice improved fuel economy because your inputs will be smoother overall. Relaxed rider, happy bike. That's a motto worth remembering. Number 11. Don't ride with random motorcyclists and ride your own pace. Speaking of relaxed riding, here's another tension-inducing situation to avoid. Ever been cruising down a popular riding road and spotted another rider ahead? There's this weird instinct to form up behind them like you're suddenly in a motorcycle gang. Resist this urge. First, it's probably annoying for the rider in front. Second, it's dangerous as hell for you. You have no idea how experienced they are if they use engine braking without brake lights or if they're about to do something unpredictable. It's way too easy to trigger that competitive mindset where if they can lean into a corner at a certain speed, you think you can too. Suddenly, you're riding beyond your limits, chasing someone into decreasing radius turns and setting yourself up for disaster. Instead of doing that, give them space. Let them do their thing. Don't try to match their pace. Ride your own ride at a pace you're comfortable with. Your pride isn't worth a hospital visit, and no stranger is going to be impressed that you're tailgating them anyway. Quick question, riders. Have you ever tried to keep up with someone and instantly regretted it? Drop a comment with your sketchiest, I was riding way over my head moment. I want to hear those survival stories. And hey, if this video's hitting home, tap that like button. It tells YouTube this content matters and helps more riders avoid rookie mistakes. We've still got some game-changing tips ahead, so stick around. The next one could literally transform how your bike handles at low speeds. Let's keep rolling. Number 10. Don't rely on technology. So you're keeping your eyes on the road, staying loose on the bars, and riding your own ride. But what about all those fancy electronics on modern bikes? Modern bikes come loaded with traction control, ABS, riding modes, and all kinds of fancy electronics. That's cool and all, but here's the hard truth. All that tech can become a crutch that prevents you from developing actual riding skills. Think about it. Does your Ninja 400 with its modest 45 horsepower really need traction control? That technology exists for leader bikes pushing 200 horsepower that can actually break the rear wheel loose under power. If you're always relying on ABS to stop you, what happens when you hop on a bike without it? You'll grab a handful of brake and go flying over the handlebars. In its place, focus on developing good throttle control. Learn proper braking technique. Master the fundamental mechanical skills that motorcycle riders have relied on for decades before all this technology existed. These skills will translate to any bike you ride in the future with or without electronic nannies. I'm not saying technology is bad. Modern safety features are incredible, and I'm grateful for them. But they should be your backup, not your foundation. Learn to ride without them first. Understand what they're compensating for. Then when you do use them, you'll appreciate exactly what they're doing for you instead of using them as a substitute for skill development. Number 9, go faster. Now that I've talked about not relying on tech, let's discuss something that might seem counterintuitive. Stay with me here. I'm not telling you to ride like a squid, but there's an uncomfortable truth beginners need to hear. Motorcycles actually handle better at proper speeds. When you're too nervous and riding too slow, maybe under 10 to 15 miles per hour, the bike feels heavy and unstable. The physics simply don't work in your favor at parking lot speeds. You're fighting against the natural tendencies of the motorcycle. Once you hit that sweet spot around 15 to 20 miles per hour, countersteering becomes effective. The gyroscopic effect of the wheels helps stability. The bike naturally wants to stay upright. Suddenly, everything feels more balanced and predictable. Don't be afraid to add a little speed within your limits and within the law to feel how your bike actually wants to handle. You'll be surprised how much more planted and responsive it feels when you're not crawling along. Obviously, this doesn't apply everywhere. Parking lots, tight turns, and congested areas still require slow, careful navigation. But when conditions allow, letting the bike get into its comfortable speed range will actually improve your control and confidence. Number 8, drag your rear brake for low speed control. Speaking of speed, sometimes you need to go slow, really slow, and that's where this next tip comes in. This one tip will instantly transform your slow speed riding. Next time you're doing a U-turn or navigating a parking lot, try this. Apply just enough rear brake to feel it slowing the wheel, but not enough to stop completely. This creates a load on the rear wheel, making the bike significantly more stable at slow speeds. Combine it with feathering the clutch and a bit of throttle, and suddenly, those tight turns become much easier. The first time I tried this technique, it was like someone had flipped a switch. Maneuvers that had been nerve-wracking suddenly felt manageable. U-turns that I could barely complete in 4 parking spaces, I could now do in 2. It's also a game changer in stop-and-go traffic. You can keep the bike balanced with the rear brake dragging slightly, avoiding the constant foot-down, foot-up dance at every stop. Your legs will thank you after a long ride through congested areas. They try to teach this in basic rider courses, but with so much information coming at you, this gem often gets forgotten. Most riders I talk to have that, "Why didn't anyone tell me this sooner?" moment when they finally discover this technique. Practice it in an empty parking lot until it becomes second nature. Your slow speed confidence will skyrocket, and other riders will wonder how you make those tight turns look so easy. Number 7, prepare for additional expenses. So you've got your handling techniques down, but what about your wallet? The financial reality of motorcycling hits like a freight train after the initial purchase. You see a used Ninja 400 for $5,000 and think you're set. Nope, you're just getting started. Here's what nobody tells you about the real cost of riding. The bike itself runs anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000. But then, you need gear. A decent helmet, jacket, gloves, boots, and pants will set you back another $800 to $1,500. Insurance for a new rider can be brutal, ranging from $500 to $1,500 annually. Tires wear much faster than car tires and cost $300 to $500 per set. Maintenance like chain and sprockets, oil changes, valve adjustments, and brake pads can add another $300 to $1,000 annually. Once you're hooked, you'll start wanting upgrades, better suspension, exhaust systems. Then comes the second bike because, as we all know, the perfect number of motorcycles is always N+1, where N is the number you currently own. I'm not saying don't do it. Riding is absolutely worth every penny, but go in with your eyes open about the real financial commitment. Budget accordingly, and don't be surprised when your cheap hobby starts competing with your rent. Number 6, road hazards are more dangerous than you think. Money concerns aside, let's talk about something that can cost you way more than dollars: your safety. In a car, gravel, wet leaves, and small potholes are minor annoyances. On a motorcycle, they can put you on the ground in seconds. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration reports that 25% of single-vehicle motorcycle crashes are caused by road debris or surface hazards. The scary part? Most are completely avoidable. Wet leaves collect in corners and create a surface that's literally as slick as ice. Metal surfaces like manhole covers offer zero traction when wet. Painted road lines seem innocent until you lean into a corner with one under your tire. Then there's gravel or sand in corners. You won't even see it until you're right on top of it, and when you hit it, traction disappears instantly. Potholes aren't just uncomfortable. They can bottom out your suspension or kick your front wheel sideways. What your car rolls over without thought can send your motorcycle wildly off course. The key to avoiding these is scanning far ahead, not just right in front of you. If you spot a hazard, adjust your line early, stay smooth on the controls, and don't panic brake while crossing them. Number 5. Braking technique saves lives. Now that you know how to spot hazards, what happens when you need to stop suddenly? Anyone can twist a throttle, but knowing how to stop properly separates skilled riders from those who end up in the ER. 1/3 of all motorcycle crashes happen because the rider didn't brake correctly. Most beginners overuse the rear brake because it feels safer. But here's the physics. 70% or more of your stopping power comes from the front brake. If you don't use it properly, your stopping distance literally doubles. The flip side, grab too much front brake too quickly and you'll lock the front wheel and go down instantly. The proper technique is progressive braking. Start with gentle pressure on the front lever and gradually increase as the weight transfers forward while applying just enough rear brake to stay balanced. In emergency situations, this technique can reduce stopping distance by up to 40%. That could be the difference between a close call and a collision. Practice emergency braking in empty parking lots until it becomes muscle memory. Number 4. Counter steering is a critical skill. So you've mastered braking, but what about turning? This blew my mind when I first learned it. At speeds above 15 miles per hour, to turn right, you actually push the right handlebar forward. Push left, go left. Push right, go right. It seems backward, but it's literally physics. The first time someone explained counter steering to me, I thought they were messing with me. You're telling me to push right to go right? That makes no sense. But then I consciously tried it on an empty stretch of road. Push right handlebar slightly forward, and like magic, the bike leaned right and turned right. Without understanding counter steering, you can't make quick, precise turns. In emergencies like a car cutting you off or a sharp curve appearing suddenly, you won't be able to react fast enough. You'll be fighting against the very physics that could save you. Motorcycle safety studies show that riders who don't use counter steering properly are 60% more likely to run wide in turns, putting them in the path of oncoming traffic or off the road entirely. Next time you're riding, consciously practice this. To go right, gently push forward on the right handlebar. To go left, push the left bar forward. This single technique will transform your riding more than any other skill. Number 3. Beginner bikes are more than enough. Now that we've covered handling techniques, let's talk about what you should be riding in the first place. The biggest mistake new riders make is thinking they need a powerful bike right out of the gate. Let me set this straight. You absolutely don't. I fell into this trap myself. When I started looking at bikes, I was convinced I needed at least a 600cc sport bike to keep up and not get bored. Thank goodness an experienced friend talked me down. He let me ride his 300cc bike first, and guess what? It was plenty fast. Even a 300 to 400cc beginner bike can out-accelerate most cars on the road, hitting 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds. Something like an MT-07 pulls harder than many sports cars. A new rider on a Ninja 400 will have more fun than a new rider struggling to control a GSX-R 600. The statistics are clear. New riders on powerful bikes are 4 times more likely to crash than those who start on something manageable. Throttle control and braking on high-powered motorcycles aren't forgiving. Twist too much and you're in serious trouble before you realize what's happening. A smaller bike lets you focus on fundamentals: cornering, braking, throttle control. You develop these skills without constantly fearing a whiskey throttle disaster. Master these skills first, then move up if you want. Number 2, your visor and helmet setup matters. So you've got your beginner bike picked out, but what about the gear you'll wear? When I started riding, I thought picking a helmet was about looking cool. Then I got caught riding at night with a dark tinted visor. It was like trying to navigate with sunglasses in a pitch-black room. I nearly rode straight into a pothole. Visibility isn't just comfort, it's survival. A dark visor looks badass in daylight, but becomes deadly after sunset. Every pothole, turn, or car becomes a serious hazard when you can barely see. In cold or humid conditions, fogging is another major problem. The first time it happened to me was on a chilly morning commute. Within seconds, my visor completely fogged up at a stoplight. When the light turned green, I couldn't see a thing. Anti-fog inserts or coatings aren't luxury items. They're essential safety equipment. Another game changer was discovering photochromic visors that adjust to light conditions automatically. It's like having multiple visors in one. Your helmet setup is also crucial for temperature control. In cold weather, a properly sealed helmet with good ventilation control keeps your head warm without fogging. In hot weather, ventilation becomes critical to prevent overheating and fatigue. Remember, your helmet is literally your window to the world when riding. Make sure you can actually see through it in all conditions and stay comfortable enough to maintain focus. Number 1. Weather affects your riding ability. Weather conditions affect every ride you take. This is the big one nobody properly warned me about. Temperature extremes don't just make riding uncomfortable, they make it dangerous. I'll never forget my first cool weather ride. The forecast said 50 degrees Fahrenheit, which seemed totally manageable. 20 minutes into the highway ride, my hands were so numb I could barely operate the controls. Wind chill drops the effective temperature by 20 degrees Fahrenheit or more at highway speeds. It's not just discomfort. Cold muscles mean slower reaction times. Your brain gets foggy. Your movements become stiff and imprecise. All things you absolutely don't want when navigating traffic. Hot weather might be even worse. In 100 degrees Fahrenheit heat, while stuck in stop-and-go traffic, my black jacket was absorbing heat while the engine radiated more directly into my legs. Within 30 minutes, I was lightheaded with my concentration shot. Dehydration kicks in faster than you realize. Proper gear isn't just about crash protection, it's about temperature management. Layering in cold weather and moisture-wicking ventilated gear and heat can make the difference between a safe, enjoyable ride and a dangerous one. No ride is worth hypothermia or heat exhaustion. And that's a wrap on 13 beginner motorcycle tips I wish I knew sooner. If this video helped even a little, do yourself and other riders a favor and smash that like button. It helps this content reach more people who might need it. Which tip hit hardest for you? Was it dashboard fixation, death grip handlebars, or the dangers of chasing other riders? Drop your story in the comments. Your experience could help someone else out. Want more tips to stay safe, ride better, and actually enjoy the learning curve? Hit subscribe and tap the bell. I post weekly videos to make sure your next ride isn't your last. Until then, ride safe, ride smart, and never stop learning. I'll catch you in the next one.